Hello, my name is Jamie Gibson, and I want to welcome you to the Your Family Bank webinar. I will be your host today, and I just wanted to, before I get started, tell you a very quick personal story. My family and I are using this process, the Your Family Bank strategy, to help us get out of debt and to secondly create a income stream for life that's tax free that we will never be able to outlive. I am so excited that this is the absolute best financial strategy that you will ever see in your entire life, and I'm glad that I can get to share this with you today. Now, before we get started, let me ask you a quick question. Are you 100% sure that you're going to have a great retirement, or do you have any doubts whatsoever? Think about that just for a minute. What if I could show you how to get completely out of debt? That includes your mortgage, your credit cards, your car payments, everything, in only a fraction of the time that you thought was possible without paying any additional money on a monthly basis. I know that sounds too good to be true, but I'm getting ready to show you exactly how that works. The average American family in America has about 40% of the money that they bring in on a monthly basis that goes straight towards taxes. An additional 34% goes to pay down the interest on loans that we borrowed. So let me explain that a little better. That basically means that 74%, almost three-fourths of every dollar that you bring into your family, if you're the average American family, is going straight out to pay either the government or some sort of bank or finance company. That only leaves you 26 cents on the dollar to be able to provide for your family and save for the future. In addition to this, the average household has almost $250,000 in debt. Now let me show you what we're trying to do. Instead of having 74% of your money going out the window, we're going to show you an approach that will reduce your taxes legally from around 40% down to around 30%. We're also going to completely get rid of your debt, which means you have no money going out to banks and finance companies. That means the remaining 70% of your money is going to be going towards what you want it to go to. Normally about 25% of that's going towards savings, and about 45% is going to your lifestyle. So you're able to essentially double your lifestyle just because you got rid of the debt and some of the taxes. Now, the average American family, and this statistic was hard for me to believe when I saw it, makes about $2 million over their lifetime. The average does. That means that every single family that you see, every single man, woman, boy, and girl that you see is essentially a millionaire. Over a 40-year working period, from age 25 to 65, if they make an average of $50,000 a year, they've made $2 million over their lifetime. But also, the staggering thing is the average family only has about $60,000 at retirement, and this includes the equity in our houses. If you look at the numbers, 60,000 divided by 2 million, that's 3%. That's right back where we were to start with. So the bottom line is this is not the American dream. So this is what I want to show you today. I want to show you a program that will reduce the volume of interest that you're paying to lenders. That word volume is extremely important, and I want to show you that in just a minute. It's also going to show you how to get out of debt in 9 years or less. It's going to improve your cash flow. It's going to decrease your taxes. It'll help you save for college for yourself or your children or your grandchildren. And finally, it will allow you to retire with tax-favored income. So let me show you something. Knowledge. We all know the popular phrase, knowledge is power. Here's the thing that I want you to understand. Bad knowledge is also power. Bad knowledge produces negative power. Good knowledge produces positive power. So the idea is most people end up their lives heavily in debt because they have used bad knowledge to get them there. And so what I want to do to start with today is I want to show you some of the bad knowledge things that we have and how to turn that around so that you can improve your life. So the first bad knowledge that causes financial ruin is debt. This is just a real quick calculator that you can do on your own phone. And what I basically did is I took $250,000 and I said we're only going to have 4% interest but we're going to pay it over 30 years. So this is basically a mortgage. You've got a $250,000 house at a 4% interest rate for a 30-year period. Now, what I want you to see here is that if you make every single payment on time, you're never late, there's no late fees, there's no chargebacks, there's no anything. This is just straight paying your payment on time. You end up paying $429,674.40. That's a total interest payment of almost $180,000. So if you look at $179,000 and you divide it back into your original loan amount of $250,000, that means that you've actually got a 71.87% interest rate. Now, where you and I often get confused and misled is the bank will tell you, hey, I'm going to give you a 4% interest rate. That's the best interest rate that we've had in the last 70 years. It's an incredibly good rate, and all that is true. But even with a very microscopically low interest rate of only 4%, over a 30-year period of time, you're paying over 70% interest. Now, if you look at cars and credit cards, which are not as high of a term of the loan period, but they do have a much higher interest rate, you can see that your actual interest rate can easily go over 100%. So where people are really getting misled is that they're looking at an actual interest rate instead of a volume of interest rate. And so what this program does is it's going to drastically reduce the volume of interest that you're paying to creditors over time. So instead of $179,000 in interest, maybe we can cut that in half. Maybe we can cut it into a third. And so I'll show you exactly how we do that. The second place that bad knowledge causes financial ruin is retirement plans. Now, before you start throwing things at me, let me explain what I mean here. I firmly believe that saving for retirement is an excellent activity, and it's something that everyone should be involved with. I just personally believe that the way that we do that, through our 401ks, our 403bs, our IRAs, our Simples, our SEPs, our SARSEPs, our KEOs, on and on and on and on the programs are, every one of those things will absolutely lead you to financial ruin. And I know this is a very controversial thing, but let me explain what I mean. Let me give you a business proposal, okay? I have a business proposal for you. I want you to put up every bit of the money. So it's all of your money, it's none of mine. I also want you to take all the risk. I also want you to manage the business on a day-to-day basis. And 30 years from now, I'll tell you how much you owe me. Are you interested in going into business with me? Of course not. Nobody would take that scenario. But here's what I'm trying to show you. That scenario, those rules are exactly how your 401k works. You're putting in all the money. You're taking all the risk. You're taking the time to manage the thing on a daily basis. And 30, 40 years in the future, the IRS is going to tell you how much you owe them. Why in the world would you ever go into business in a situation like that? So I just want you to understand your retirement plan planning for retirement is great, but the retirement plan is horrible. The third thing, and this also is kind of controversial, but the other thing that causes financial ruin is your house. Let me explain what I mean. What is the return of interest on the principal in your house? What's the ROI on your principal? So I'm going to give you two scenarios so that you can actually see this. On the left here, we're going to say that we're going to purchase a $200,000 house with nothing down. So none of your own money is actually going to go into purchasing this house. So you buy a $200,000 house, you put nothing down, you have a $200,000 mortgage. Into the future, whatever time frame, it doesn't matter, you sell that house for $300,000. So you've made a $100,000 profit, okay? So you've made a $100,000 profit without spending any of your money. Now, let me give you another scenario. You purchase that exact same house with all of the cash. It costs $200. You put $200,000 down. You pay no mortgage whatsoever. Again, you sell it for $300,000. How much have you made? You've made $100,000. So you see, you made the exact same amount of money whether you put nothing down or whether you put all of the money down. So the question is, what is the return of interest on your actual principal? The answer is nothing. Now, let me pull all this together. The three places that people are traditionally losing financially. Number one is debt, because we have believed the bank's lies that we have small interest rates when it's actually the volume of interest that's actually killing you. The second place that you're losing financially is through your 401k program. You're taking money, you're putting it into a plan, and you don't know how much you're going to be able to get out of it, because the truth is the IRS changes the tax code every single year. And you have no idea. If you're a 22-year-old person fresh out of college and you can't touch this money until you're 59 and a half, you've got 37 years that you're going to lock that money down, that you can't use it for anything, not for your kids' shoes, not for a new house, not for a new car. You can't use that money at all. So in truth, you can only use that money once, and you don't know how much of it you're going to get to keep 37 and a half years into the future. So why would you ever do that? And the third thing that people are having problems with is they're taking large amounts of money and they're putting it down on their house, and then they're paying extra principal down on their house on a monthly basis to try to get that house paid off quicker. So the average American is going into debt, paying exorbitant interest rates, and then they're taking all the extra cash that they have and either putting into their house that has a 0% return of income, or they're putting into their 401k that they can't touch for 37, 38 years. So we're strapping ourselves financially, and the only other option is to go into debt, and the banks are deceiving us on exactly how much interest that we're having to pay. So the bottom line is you go into financial ruin. So let me show you how this is different. I want to show you the nuts and bolts of exactly how the Your Family Bank program actually works. Now, bear with me. I know these graphics are not wonderful, but they will get the idea across. I want to show you the normal way that a person buys a car. Now, before I start this, let me explain. There's really two different ways. One is you can go into debt and you can spend the next few years trying to pay off that car. And as soon as you pay off that car, it's typically a junk car, and you have to go into debt to buy a new one and spend the next few years paying off that one, and you repeat that cycle over and over and over throughout your entire lifetime. And at the end of your life, you have a bunch of junk cars and nothing to show for them. That's a bad financial plan, and we all know that. So what I'm going to show you is a little bit smarter way. This is the way that smart people typically buy cars. They go down to their bank. First National Bank is what I put. You can put your bank in that place. Okay, so they go down to their bank and they put savings in. So they open a savings account, or it could be in their checking account, either way. The bank is also going to pay them a monster interest of 1%, but that interest is also taxable. So not only do you put a little bit of money in, but you're also going to have to pay the IRS because they know that you've gotten a little bit of interest on there. So what you do is you save and you save and you save, and you finally, through your savings and through the monster interest that the bank is putting in, you accumulate $10,000, and you decide that you want to go off and buy a car. So you go and buy a car. Now, let me ask you a quick question. What happens to your money once you buy that car? It's gone, right? Also, what happens to any further interest that you would have made on that $10,000 in your account? Obviously, it's gone too, right? But that's okay because you've got a brand new car. And it's also your new responsibility is to start filling that tank back up again, because you're going to need a new car in a few years down the road. Let me show you a better way. Okay, so this is the normal way to buy a car. The Your Family Bank way is a little bit different. You start out at the same place. Instead of First National Bank, you have your own family bank that you have created. You put your savings in just like you did before. The difference is, instead of 1%, you're making an average of about 5%. And also, instead of paying taxes on it, it's tax-free. So you're already winning the race right there, because you're getting 5 times as much interest, and you're not having to pay any taxes on that. So you're going to get to your $10,000 savings even quicker. Now, here's where things change. Because we're doing this the smart way, we're doing this inside of a life insurance plan, and I'll get to why we do that in just a minute. But because we're doing this inside of a life insurance plan and you've created your own bank, the life insurance company is going to come beside you and say, hey, I see that you've got $10,000 in cash value in your policy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use your $10,000 savings as collateral. Your money is going to continue to stay in your account. It is never going to be taken out. Also, any interest that goes into your account is still going to be hitting your account because your money is still there. So what the insurance company is going to do is they're going to say, hey, we see that you've got the money. We're going to use that as collateral, and we're going to come beside you, and we're going to give you another account with $10,000 in it. And from that $10,000, you're going to go and you're going to buy your car. Now, let me explain why this is such a phenomenal idea and how this makes such a tremendous amount of difference. The idea is you never want to empty your bucket. Okay? On the left here, we've got money. As you go higher and higher, you've got more and more and more money. The problem is, to accumulate money in any kind of investment, it takes time. And this chart here shows the basic flow of how money grows over time. And as long as you never empty your bucket, you will continue to grow and grow and grow to infinity. There will never be an end. Now, here's what happens, though, because this is the perfect world scenario. If you were able to do this, you would have that $2 million that you had earned. You would have all $2 million that you had earned, but on top of that, you would have also earned all the interest that it would have made over your entire lifetime. But we don't do that. What do? Instead, we empty our bucket. So we start out with the same place, but then life happens. The kids need braces, or the car tears up, or the air conditioning unit goes out, or we need a new roof on our house, or the kids need to go to college, whatever. There can be 1,000 different things. And as you take money out of your bucket, you go all the way back to zero. So what happens is your trajectory starts all over again. It's the exact same trajectory. I literally just copied these lines over. So it's the exact same trajectory. It's just further down the line now in the form of time. So you get to the same place. It just takes you a lot more time. Then life happens again, and you do it over again. And that happens over and over and over throughout your lifetime. And the sad truth is, we get to the end of our life, and we don't have enough time left to build our trajectory. In other words, because we continually empty our bucket, we're continually pushing down the road into further and further time, the point at which we can get financially free. And so what this program that we're doing does is it shows you how to never empty your bucket. And if you never empty your bucket, it will continue to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And the interest that you gain will continue to grow. Now, here's one other very, very important thing. Let's assume that I start this program today, and I'm all the way down here at the bottom left corner. So I'm starting with my first dollar. As I start along my trajectory, okay, and let me go back to the previous screen. As I start along my trajectory, if I never empty my bucket, at some point I'm going to pass away. I'm going to pass away some point along this line. When I pass away, I pass this money on to my kids, and they start at that exact same spot. They don't have to go all the way back down here to the bottom left again to start over with theirs. They start where I leave off. So they keep on going, keep on putting money in the bucket, keep on living life, and then eventually my children will pass away. And the trajectory will keep on going. It will be much further higher up to the right. And so my grandkids will pick up exactly where my kids left off, and on and on and on. This is a multi-generational way of building wealth. And as long as you never empty the bucket, you will never ever come to a point to where you run out of ability to continue borrowing money. Now, let me give you a perfect example. I'm going to show you how this actually works in real life. This is Mark and Joyce, okay? Mark and Joyce are the typical American family. Let me show you their financial information. Mark is 37, Joyce is 35. Okay, so they're in their mid-30s. They have 3 small children. Between the two of them, they both work. Between the two of them, they make about $7,000 a month. They have a little less than $100,000 in their retirement plan, and you can see the areas of interest that they have. Now, let me show you their savings, what they're currently doing. When we met Mark and Joyce, this is what they were doing. They were currently putting $25 per month into their Bank of America emergency fund. That emergency fund had accumulated about $6,000. They were also putting $300 a month into their 401k, which is housed at Fidelity, and that 401k had $36,500 into it. So they had, between the two accounts, they had $42,000 in assets. The problem is they also had some debts. And here's their debts. They had some Visa, they had some medical bills, they had credit cards, they had furniture payments, they had a car payment, and they also had a mortgage. Now, I want you to pay very special attention to this. This screen is very important. Their average interest was only 10%, very, very low. They also have a balance of $180,000. Remember back to the beginning of this presentation, I said the average family has a balance of about $250,000 in debt. So Mark and Joyce are doing much, much better than the average family. They're also spending $2,177 a month on all of their debt. Okay, here's where this program is totally different from everything else that you've ever seen before. I'm not going to tell you that you need to cut your budget. I'm not going to tell you that you need to find places that we can save money. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get you to list your debts. I'm going to come up with your number, which matches 2177, whatever that number is for you, and that's the number that we're going to start with. We're not going to spend one extra dollar unless you want to. If you want to pay off your debts even quicker, then we can put more money in it. Otherwise, we're going to use the 2177 that you're already using today. Okay? Now, here's the volume of interest. Remember, they think they owe $180,000. That's what their debt is. But if you add in all the payments that they're going to pay over the next 30 years on all those payments, they're actually going to pay $380,000. That's an additional $199,959 in interest payments over the next 30 years. So here's their current retirement plan. They've got $36,500 into it. They're putting $300 more a month into it, and they're making about 5% net of all fees. They're also at the 25% income tax bracket currently. Now, here's the important part. At the end of 30 years, Mark and Joyce will have $408,000 in their 401k. Remember what the average family has, only $60,000. So this family is doing considerably better, almost 7 times better than the average family. So we're making this as favorable towards them as we possibly can. However, here's the nasty little secret. Because they're in the 25% tax bracket, if they take that money out and spend it, they only get to spend $306,000. Now, let me ask you a quick question. As I record this webinar, our nation is currently over $20 trillion in debt. How do you think we're going to pay for that? Do you think taxes are going to go higher? Do you think they're going to go lower? Or do you think they're going to stay the same? I have literally asked that question thousands of times, and I have never had a single person who said they think that taxes are going lower. There's no way that they possibly can. Everybody believes that they're going higher. So here's the idea. If you're currently in a 25% tax bracket, it doesn't matter what the number is. Plug in any number. Say 10%. It doesn't matter. Whatever tax bracket that you're currently in, you're getting a tax discount today. But in the future, you will pay taxes on that money. So if you're getting a discount now at a lower tax bracket and you think you will have to pay it later at a higher tax bracket, does that make any sense to you whatsoever? Think about that. No one talks about this. Everybody has been a big proponent of 401k programs for the last 20 or 30 years. But remember, when Reagan came into office, the top tax bracket was over 70%. It's now under 40. Taxes have been coming down for the last 30 years. Do you think that trend is going to continue, or do you think eventually we're going to have to raise taxes so that we can pay for all the debt that we have? If we're going to have to pay for taxes, then tax rates are going up. Retirement plans make a horrible, horrible choice. It is a horrible choice to have retirement plans if taxes are going up. So let's take a look at what Mark and Joyce were able to do with your family bank instead of what they were currently doing. Instead of them being debt-free in 30 years, we were able to get them completely free of all lenders in only 7.8 years. That means that we saved them over 22 years of payments. Remember, they're paying $2,177 a month. That means that they get to keep all of that extra money. So the interest, remember they owed over $199,000 in interest. We were able to save $122,000 of that. That's $122,000 that they were able to put back in their pockets. In addition to that, we freed up that $2,177 a month. So at the end of the 7.8 years, they literally could burn $2,100 a month and they would never know the difference. It wouldn't matter. So instead, what we're going to do is continue to plug it into this program and continue to get them the interest rates on it and their trajectory. Remember, we're going to go back to the bucket. That trajectory never stops. It's going to continue forever. So at the end of the 30 years, instead of having $360,000 in spendable retirement income, they have over $1 million because they were able to reinvest this $2,177 a month. So here's their current plan, $306,000 after taxes. Our plan is over $1 million. But remember, they also had the $122,000 in interest that they saved. So they really have over $1.1 million instead of $300,000. So that is a difference of $820,000. Now, I want to wrap this up and put a pretty bow on it for you. This cost them absolutely nothing. The $2,177 that they were spending before is exactly what they're spending now. They're just changing how they're spending it. So it costs them absolutely nothing. It saved them 22 years of payments. And it put $820,000 back in their pockets. So the question is, why in the world would anybody not want to do this? So what I want you to see is this is a great plan. This is the most amazing financial tool that I have ever seen. This is what my family is doing because we want to be out of debt. And furthermore, we want to create that tax-free income for life that we can never, ever outlive. So here's your decision. A goal without a plan is just a wish. I would like to show you how this specifically figures into your life. The program for Mark and Joyce is wonderful, but it's not you. So what I want you to do is I want you to get back in contact with me. I want you to contact me, Jamie Gibson. My phone number is 864-214-5873. You can also email me at jamie@nodebtpro.com to get started. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send you a data sheet. The data sheet is only 4 pages long, and you don't even have to fill out the 4th page. Just fill out the first 3 pages, giving us the basic information like Mark and Joyce did. I will take it, and I will analyze your data, and I will run some reports that show you exactly, month by month, when you will be able to pay off every single debt in your plan. I will also show you the end of the ride. What is your data going to look like in 15, 20, 30 years? When you would have been out of debt, what are you going to be out of debt, and how much money are you going to have in your pocket now? So, and then the final thing is I'll schedule a big picture report meeting when I can get back together with you and I can show you this information. So again, I want to thank you for taking the time to go through this information. I desperately would love to have the opportunity to show you how this fits into your family. I believe that this is the greatest financial tool that you will ever see, and I need to be able to present it to you. So get back in touch with me as soon as possible. Give me a call at 864-214-5873 or email me at jamie@nodebtpro.com. Thank you so much, and you have a great day. Bye-bye.